What's up, everybody? Good morning. Yeah, well, good morning. I hope everybody can hear me. No worries on responding if you're busy or unable to at the moment. Per usual, I'm going to give it like good 3 to 5 minutes, let some other people check in. While I'm doing that, I'm just kind of working on my other monitors here. So feel free to jump in if you have any questions, want to chat about the weather, whatever it may be, until we'll at the very latest start at 11:05. Just give it a few more minutes and go from there. Do one thing here at home.
Good morning.
Good morning. Morning, Danielle.
Hi.
Welcome. Hey there. I'm just kind of working on the side here, waiting for giving everybody a couple minutes to check in. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome.
Trying to jump back on the saddle. I've been off of Zillow for several days, and so hopefully you guys saw my message this morning. I'm back on and jumping back in.
Yeah, I think Wes, as I looked and I thought Wes had thumbs up to all the requests. Let me double check. Yeah, he gave you a thumbs up, so that means you should be unpaused, and I will just double check here to be safe.
So that one,
yes,
that
you are.
Is anybody else on? I don't want to just be talking. Oh, they are. Okay, I'll be quiet.
Yeah, but everybody's being pretty silent with me right now. You're the only one to even say good morning, so I'm feeling pretty sad with the rest of the crowd. No, it's just after Adam. I appreciate you guys showing, like, when people come. I mean, I don't like to take these things like I'm a boss, or I would never tell everybody what they have to do, but it's nice when people show up because I spend quite a few hours prepared for it. So cool to be able to share it with some people. But yeah, feel free if you have what you wanted to do, mention something else.
Oh, so that one that I told you that they signed up with a different email address. Are you able to check that?
What do you mean by that? The one that you wanted removed yesterday?
Yeah, because they're now connected with another Zillow agent.
Okay, yeah. So this can happen, like if for example, sometimes we get duplicates, or you'll even have the same lead twice with 2 different accounts. So I'm not able to like see who they're connected with or manage anything on that end.
Oh, okay.
How did they just tell you that, or is that how you knew?
Sue told me.
Oh, okay, Sue told you. Okay, yeah. Then he'll be able to check way more than I don't even know what they can see, but already I know and would assume they can see a lot more on the back end than I can as a home loan. But also I don't know if he said, like, I just want to make sure that they can connect with another agent, but that just might be an accident. Doesn't, unless they verified they're working with that agent or told Sue something to pass on to you that, essentially alluded to the fact that they're moved on or they're not a viable lead. But it's not always their fault. Sometimes they just use a different email address. They forget whatever their previous account, or for some reason they want to use a separate profile. And then that can go, to any other agent. So sometimes it's just like an accident and it's not necessarily that they wanted to connect with somebody else or meet somebody else. Not saying it is or isn't, just saying we don't always know. But obviously if Sue said something like they're working with somebody else, then I would.
Yeah, he let me know. Yeah.
move on and put your efforts where they deserve to be placed.
That's
So
right. That's right.
yeah, win some, you lose some. You can be the best of the best of the best of the best, and you're still not going to win them all. It's
That's
just all
right.
about sticking with the processes and trusting that it will all average out. And usually, if you're sticking with the processes really well, you're going to play in the numbers well above the average. So,
Right.
but yeah, it can be
Right.
super frustrating. I remember, like, I definitely remember it. It could be very disheartening.
Yeah.
You have to have very thick skin to be a realtor, in my opinion.
That's
I
right.
struggle with that. I struggle with that in the beginning because I take things real personal, want to like make sure everybody's taken care of and that have a good effect on anyone I'm around. And then when people just ghost or disappear, I'd really, like, in the beginning, would take that stuff way to heart. And real estate got my skin thicker fast.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'll get us going now. We got a few people in here. If anybody wants to jump in at any point with questions, I'm going to be reviewing a little presentation I put together. Kind of just, well, I might as well pull it up as I'm discussing it. And then we're essentially going to look at several different objections, kind of look at just the myths and truths of objections, like a good approach, how to receive them and try to handle them and work with them. And then we're going to look at just common objections, some ideal replies and ways you can handle those. And then we'll also be reviewing some call recordings or some objection handling recordings as well. And it's open. So like typically all my coachings and classes, anytime you have something, a question, just jump in, because I'm not going to be able to see everybody on camera. Well, shoot, none of you guys have your camera on anyway. So, but even if you raise your hand or anything, so just feel free to jump in as I'm cruising along here. And I'd love any input. If you're, receiving objections that we don't review, that you're seeing commonly, if you have different approaches that you've either utilized or heard others utilize that you think might be a nice add or nice option for us to have in our pocket. Yeah, so feel free. This is an open forum as well. Otherwise, does anybody have any questions or anything they would like to present before I jump in here? And if not, all right, awesome. All right, well, I'll just get us going here. I'm going to share my screen and pop over to our presentation. Cool. Can everybody see my screen? I guess just yell no if you can't.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Tina. Thank you. All right, cool. So, level of coaching, we're just going to be looking at objection handling, a little bit on navigating financing. This is an area I think is really great to learn more about, train on. This was a little area of weakness for me in my real estate career, but Zillow has like some really great trainings online now. I'm actually taking one next week on navigating the financing. I'll share what I find with you guys, but these are all really, there's a lot of stuff in the Zillow Academy regarding both of these. But we're going to review quite a bit here today. So agenda, we're going to look at objection, myths, and truths, kind of just how you can handle them, how you can work with them, and what really is going on when people have objections. We're going to be looking at inbound lead objections, just mostly focusing on our Zillow Flex calls. What are the common objections we're receiving in those? Common objections you receive when following up and trying to move the needle with a client or a lead, trying to move them through the funnel. Commission objections. Really, I just wanted to kind of clarify this because it's a big one, but it's really part of these two, your follow up and your just objections in general, and then financing objections. So yeah, we're going to take a look at these. First, want to kind of just look at understanding objections and really what they are and how we can best handle them and the best approach we can take as realtors. So a lot of this stuff I got off of one of those webinars that I mentioned every month that Zillow does. We have another one, I think, on the 25th that I signed up for. It's just full of gold, these 1 hour top performer webinars. So a lot of what I'm presenting today is from when I did, I think in like February or March, along with several other scripts and objection handling classes and videos and stuff that I've watched over the years. So what are objections? Objections come from having little information about the process or a part of the process. Objections are more like concerns. Try to think of objections that aren't, it's not a typically just a final no. It's a lack of them being educated on what their options are, what the risks are, and for example, waiting out the market or waiting for rates to get lower, et cetera, et cetera. But they often are just something to say with sales resistance. For example, when we go into a store, car dealership or something, we're approached, you know, are you looking for any? No, just looking. But oftentimes we're not. We're really there to buy. We just don't want to be sold. So a lot of times it's the same thing we're getting from interested buyers, consumers, sellers. They're just either a mix, typically A, aren't educated enough on that process, or B, they just they have sales resistance. So they don't know enough. They need to see value. They need to be provided more. They need to have their concerns be heard and understood. So we'll look more into that as we go. Top voted objections, whatever, this is from the January webinar, listing agent, already have an agent, market conditions. We're going to look at all these and a few others. And boom. Okay, tips and tactics. When handling objections, especially on the phone, a great way to kind of mirror and match it and deflect it almost, or flip it back, is to act confused with inflection in your voice. Meaning, for example, if they're like, yeah, I was hoping to speak with the listing agent. Oh, okay. What, and out of curiosity, why were you hoping to connect with the listing agent? This kind of rises doubt in them, like on what they're doing, because you're the market expert, you're the person taking the call, and now you're confused on their approach or what they are asking for, which can plant seeds of doubt in them and open them up to being guided or open to other advice, or being educated. So this is a great way. I like to do this in everything. Mirroring and matching is something I got pretty good at. I was horrible at it at the beginning, and now it's real natural to me. I'll notice I'm talking to somebody, they start talking really slow. I start talking really slow with them. They talk fast, I talk fast with them. So that's just in a general handling call, scripts, dialogue tip. But also, yeah, then you can also take control of that vibe and that energy of the call by, like I said, acting confused with the inflection of your voice. Motivation, the piece is super important when you're digging into these. The best way to handle objections is to get to the heart of what the objection is. Why did they have it? For example, if they're worried about interest rates, why do they have that? Oh, do they have a current loan that is already at a low rate? Okay, are they just worried about never ever being able to have a good rate again? Okay, maybe we can discuss, well, when rates go down, you can refinance, and when rates do go down, the prices will go up. So if you get in now, while rates are still a bit higher, you can get in at a nice, marry the price, not the rate. And then as rates go down in the future, we can refinance. Now you have a lower rate and the lower price, best of both worlds. I mean, you just had to eat a bit of, and you would obviously deliver this a little more elegantly, but eat a bit of interest over those 2 years, but to get the house you want at the price you want and showing how that benefits them. An example. And the goal is really just to try to educate them, but also to hear them out, to understand them. Some objections are for real. Our goal is not to just like take an objection and kill it, or change the opinion of the buyer or the seller. Sometimes there are real objections that we just can't work with. Parents are sick, have to take care of them, cannot move, whatever, lost my job, whatever it may be, cannot do something for you. Okay, totally understand. Wow, can't even imagine. Wishing you the best with that. If anything changes, even if you just have questions, you want to stay up to speed on the market in the meantime, while you're sacrificing everything for other people, I'm here for you. I'm here for you when the time is right for you. I'd love the opportunity to be your trusted guide or your real estate expert, etc. I'm here for you when the time is right for you. Those are gonna happen. You're gonna have objections that there's not anything you can really do with them. But we'll be looking at more objections that a lot of times you can try to educate them, try to work through that with them and help them overcome that objection. Cool. Couple others, remember, objections, like I just discussed, aren't necessarily detractions. Sometimes they just want to be heard. and they want their concerns to be understood. So it's just really listening and providing true feedback, not just trying to push through, hammer through and get them to buy a house, sign a contract with you, etc. Awesome. And then like one of the most common objections that we always get, already have an agent, is more of a no, I'm not, I'm just looking, similar to what we might say in a car lot or store, because we just don't want to be sold. Sorry for my work cuz here. This was while I was taking notes. And as I copied and pasted, I forgot to adjust that. But yeah, oftentimes, yeah, for sure, we're going to meet plenty of people that do have an agent. Maybe their brother's an agent, husband's an agent, close friend, can't do anything about it. But a lot of times when they say that, they don't have an agent. They're just looking and they're not ready. They don't want to be sold. They don't want to be aggressively pursued. I do the same exact thing when I go into stores until I'm ready. But if somebody's asking me and then being very chill, but being present and not overwhelming, when I am ready, I'm going to gladly go to them and buy those pair of shoes or that car. So keep that all in mind. Try to. I know it's hard to not think too much or over wonder what they're doing, etc. But oftentimes that is the case. All right, cool. Lastly, before we look at specific objection handlings and how we can respond to them, there is something called ART. It's like a framework for handling objections that I find really, really helpful to stick with. And ART is essentially acknowledging their objection, a reason to continue or reasoning with it, and a transition. So moving on, trying to, because like, for example, on the initial calls for Zillow, our goal is to get the appointment. So how can we work through those objections and get that appointment? So for example, we're waiting for things to improve. So by acknowledging, okay, buying can seem, there's where, oh, totally understand. Buying can seem like a very daunting task, especially in a market like this. Luckily, I've helped people like yourselves find homes in this market successfully with my approach. This is where you can add your value or kind of add a little bit. You don't want to overwhelm them with too much about you, but give them a little something and then move on. Awesome. Oh, hey, it could seem like a daunting task, totally understand in this market. Luckily, though, I've been very fortunate helping several people like yourself find homes in this market, including this year. So at the very worst, at the very least, I'd love to show you this home so you can get a chance to see what's out there. What time would be a good chance? What time would you like to see 123 Main Street? You just pivot. It's all about leading. So yeah, they're not always going to say yes, but you're just kind of trying to acknowledge their objection, not focus too much on it as being like this huge, overwhelming problem they can't overcome, but acknowledge it, let them know that you have some experience working through it, or show them a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, or a way that maybe shows them that it's still possible to do what they want to do, and then immediately like circle it and then lead it into the next step, trying to get an appointment. Okay, they don't want to do an appointment. Okay, also I totally understand. So you guys just kind of wanting to browse online for now and maybe check out open houses here and there. Yeah, that's where we're at. Okay, awesome. Well, hey, I'd love to at least set you up where I'm sending you some listings so you can kind of see what's out there, including open houses coming up in your areas. And that's what, and then trying to get a step like time frame. Awesome. Well, totally understand you guys are, not at the point or at the point to make a move right now. Just out of curiosity, let's say the perfect home did hit the market. What time frame would you ideally like to be moving? Or do you have a certain time frame you need to move it? So you're just working through these objections while trying to get either a next follow-up appointment, a next step, or B, at least try to find out their time frame. Then you can work with that in your CRM by putting them on a proper nurture plan, setting them on a property alert or market alert, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, sorry, I'll move on to the other objections, but that's going to be similar. The way I elaborated on how to handle this and pivot to the next steps will be similar with all these. Cool. Reading through the rest of these, you're too new of an agent to help me. Acknowledge you're right. I'm a new agent. That means I've learned the latest tips and tricks and regulations to help you find a home that fits your needs. Tell me a little bit about what you're looking for in your move, Brittany. That's where you can just, again, you're leading. You could say a few things. Yeah, you're right. I'm a newer agent. Luckily, I've joined a team with over 100 combined years of experience, and I have a mentor that's 20 plus years of experience guiding me the way. So Luckily for you, you have an agent that is fully dedicated to you. I am not, busy handling hundreds of clients right now. And you have 2 for 1. You get me and my mentor, who is blah, blah, blah. And that's, again, and then you transition into asking them a question about themselves to kind of pivot from that objection and keep the needle moving forward. All right, a couple more. We still need to talk to other agents. Hey, that's a relatable feeling. I like to get a second, third, and even a fourth opinion so often. The good news is that you have me on the phone right now. So and that's where you pivot. So to get a better feel of how I could possibly help you, how I could be the best person to help you out, what are you looking for in a new home? Boom, pivoting, transitioning. I'm busy right now. Okay, I can emphasize as a real estate agent, I'm constantly on the go. I completely respect your time, and I'll keep this brief. When would you like to see the property? Boom. I do this a lot on these calls that I make, like follow-up, just random nurture calls. It's like, hey, I'll even like suggest it to them. If I'm on the phone and I hear him being short, or I hear like a baby in the background or kids or something, hey, sorry, it sounds like you're with your kids. That's probably, sure, a lot more important than talking to me. Do you have a sec if I can keep this brief, or would it be better to call back at another time? Just trying to like respect them and give yourself a chance, but not cut yourself off either. Not kill the opportunity to do something maybe at a later time if right now won't work. Any questions or thoughts on art, like kind of the way of that approach on handling objections? Is anybody using any specific frameworks or anything did anything stand out to you there? Or does anybody want to chime in at all? And if not, I'll just continue on. I kind of like to open it up because I just don't like to talk for an hour and imagine you guys all just dying on the other end. So, and for a little coffee. All right, cool. Again, feel free to jump in anytime, and I'll just keep on rolling here. All right, cool. So looking at specific actually, you know what I want to do before we do this, I want to play a recording and get these specific scripts. So actually stop sharing and give me 1 sec, play this recording first. All right. Let me know if you guys can't hear this.
Objection. Perfect. And one thing I do want to add to that, Rudy, as well as far as remember on these calls, objections aren't necessarily like detractors. It just means that they want to make sure that their concerns are reassured. So when somebody says they already have an agent, you don't want to automatically, like he said, it's great to ask, do you have a signed agreement with that agent? If yes, if no, like here's what you should be doing. But also know in your mind that it doesn't automatically mean that they actually are working with an agent, because it's the same thing. It's the knee-jerk reaction that consumers will have, kind of like when we go into a store or go to a car dealership. We can have every intention of buying something from the store, or buying a car. But as soon as the salesperson comes up to us, we don't want to feel like we're being sold. So we instantly go nope, I'm just looking. I already have an agent is the knee-jerk reaction of I'm just looking. So don't always take it at face value is basically what I'm trying to say with that.
Cool. So I mean, that was more or less reiterating a lot of what I've mentioned, and I didn't. Not that I came up with it, stole a lot from them because it really, really resonated with me. So yeah, that's kind of a little more to elaborate on your approach and how to handle these. And now let's jump into specific objections and objection handlings. So, all right, one of the most common ones we get, especially with these flex calls, is I'm looking for the listing agent. Here again is a great way, just with your inflection in your voice, to create some bit of doubt with them. Oh, okay, you're looking for the listing agent. Okay, Brittany, out of curiosity, why were you looking to connect with them? Or was there any specific reason you're looking to connect with the listing agent? Yeah, typical. Just looking to connect with them. Truly, often if they are, they either don't know the process, B, think they're going to get a better deal going with the listing agent. Awesome. And that's when it's okay. Totally understand. Yeah, it's a very common misconception that working directly with the listing agent will get you the best deal. But in reality, the listing agents are contractually obligated to get the highest price and best overall result for their seller, first and foremost. That is why Zillow connected you with me, because I'm a buyer specialist in the area, and that will ensure that you can not only help you, assist you with this and or any other properties, but more so focus on you and your family's needs and best interests, and therefore get you the best results and deal in your purchase, in your home purchase, or in your journey. And then it's immediately pivoting. So would you like to go see it tomorrow or Wednesday afternoon? You know, whatever the day is, obviously. But just kind of, again, like educating them a bit, letting them know what the truth is, the myth behind their objection, and then how you can help them, and not like pausing and waiting for them to approve of your response. You just immediately, you kind of say your piece, and then ask for the appointment or ask for the next step. You know, maybe they've already told you they're not, whatever, they don't want to see any properties. They're in Georgia till next week. Okay, awesome. When can we connect next week? Or do you have time to meet via Zoom this week to discuss your goals and see if I'm the right fit to help you get there? It's more like a lot of things you can pivot from there, but that's a general idea and a great approach. Cool. Any questions? Again, jump in because I can't see your camera. So if anybody has any things they've been working with, or again, if you have any objections to my ideas for objection handling, if you're using any of these and they're not working, or you have a better an idea for a better approach, please jump in. Awesome. All right, next one. Again, we get this way too often. I'm working with an agent. Again, a little curiosity. Oh, you're already working with an agent. Okay, have you signed any paperwork? Are you like exclusively working with them? Boom. If it's a yes, oh great. Like, don't waste more time. You've done your part. We're not here to steal leads. We're not here to battle for every lead. We get enough, and you guys have enough things to focus your time on. So if they say yes, great. And then a couple things you can do. Oh, great. Can I get their email address to send them an email so they can show you the property? It's a little bit of time, but at least you're doing something to like kind of get them off the board. You took care of them. They could come back if their agent isn't available next time, and they're you the one that still like at least helped connect the dots for them and didn't just like tell them to screw off. Could be great. Awesome. Great. Also, obviously, there's other things we do to follow up to coincide with this on our end. We put them on a has agent smart plan in Lofty, which will text and email them for 6 months to try to re-engage them for you. And then this is kind of the bonus one, but it is fair enough. Like if they say they're that agent, they're signed, fair enough. There's nothing better than being in good hands. If you ever feel otherwise, I'd love to be a plan B for you. In the meantime, since I have your email address, that's where you can offer, do you mind if I send you monthly newsletters? Not too real estate heavy, interesting content, or offer property alerts or market reports, or again, like these are follow-up, just awesome. Hey, is it okay if I just like reach out to you every couple months, check in, make sure you're still in good hands? A lot of options there. The idea is just not to kill the potential connection and opportunity, and at least give it some life, even if they're not giving you a lot. Awesome. All right, back up to the top here. So yeah, when you do ask that question, if they're exclusively working with somebody, if it's a no, okay, great. Would you be willing to work with me should you decide to purchase this or these properties that you're interested in? Again, none of these scripts I want to elaborate. I should have talked about this earlier. Nothing is like recommended word for word. I don't actually say any of these. Oh, wow, my camera's off, sorry. I don't actually say any of these word for word. I just wrote them down as the shortest form I could. And the idea is to practice these over and over, and then you make them your own. They'll come out in your verbiage, your tonality, what's comfortable and feels right for you. But just the actual scripts are just kind of an idea, a direction that you can take. Okay. Back over here. So yeah, again, with the if no thing, you can also this is where I'm just gonna poke holes. When I'm working with an agent, I'm just gonna try to poke holes in them. So really, I'm like, if they're, for example, I'm like, oh, okay, oh, you're already working with an agent, okay, I'm a little curious, are you hoping for another agent to show you this property, or is your agent not available? And that, if their agent's not available, it's open season for me, especially if they're on vacation or something, or whatever, they're just not available. That's where I'm gonna poke holes. Oh my gosh, okay, well, yeah, that's actually why I work with a team, because my biggest fear when I got into real estate would be that my lack of availability would hinder my client's ability to purchase their dream home. And one thing I never want, my worst nightmare, is that I couldn't show a home to my client and it was their dream home and they missed out on it. But that, like, again, that was a little more wordy than maybe you needed to be, but boom, I'm trying to really show them like this is a tough market, like properties can go in like within a couple hours. So you need someone, in my opinion, like if I'm looking for a house right now, I need someone who is available and or a team that's available at all times for my needs. So you're just trying to poke holes. And that's where, again, if they're still gonna try with that agent, blah, 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 at least you planted some seeds, then you put them on a has agent plan in Lofty that's emailing and texting them, light touches. And we actually get responses from this and get people to come back. And that's what you can, that's all you can do. You can't force people, you know, much more. You can't like force people to do exactly what you want to do, but you can guide them. And that's the goal. Cool. So that's that right there. Another one will, obviously this will be coming more and more as things develop and evolve with this NAR changes, but would you share rebate your commission? A ton of ways you can respond to this. All of these things you can Google and YouTube and find like different approaches, different responses, maybe some better than what I'm providing, not sure, but yeah, don't be stuck to just what I'm showing. Those are just ideas. But yeah, honestly, to be honest, Frank, I'm not a discount agent. And if you're looking for a discount service, I'm really just not the agent for you. Sorry. I know I value negotiating on your behalf and guiding you through this transaction, not just to get a contract, but to take care of you every single step of the way. And therefore my worth is in the commission the seller's offering for my services. So I completely understand if you're looking for a discount service and a discount agent, but I'm just not the person for you. And then, you know, another way you can, and just like, honestly, if you think about it, it's like, if you had a legal issue, would you feel more comfortable with a lawyer charging a lower commission or fee than one charging a higher fee? Something to that nature, you could say, to kind of really get them thinking about that. Like, wow, okay, I'm trying to be cheap on this, but maybe it's costing me in the end because I'm going to lose out on negotiations, and people looking out for me and my best interests and keep staying compliant with the contract, et cetera, et cetera. Depending if it's a listing or a buyer, it's where you show your value and, you know, marketing, what you do to sell a home versus what your unique proposition and value is that you bring to a buyer. Cool. Moving on, another common one, market conditions concerns. So this is typically when they want the rates, like right now, rates and prices to go down. And well, how many other consumers have that same desire and goal? And then this kind of comes down to also, are they really able to afford the home they desire? But it's all about educating. Educate that it's not always about time. It's not always about, you can't always time the market perfectly. If we all could, we would, and all of us realtors would just buy houses all the time before anybody else. So it's nearly like, it's just not something you can do, but definitely not a bad approach to try to time it right for yourself. And really the time that's right for yourself is when you can afford to buy the home that you want to buy. When you're in the place to purchase the home of your desire. And then, yeah, reminding them, marry the price, not the rate, and get it sooner than later to see your home value start appreciating. So again, it's just educating, like, yes, prices are up, rates are up, prices are up a bit too, but you know, when rates do go down, that generally means prices are going to go up. So, you know, would you rather have a $900,000 property at 3.5%, or would you rather buy it now at 800,000 for whatever 6% and get it down to 4% in a couple years, or 3.5, whatever, however you want to present that. All right, and then what else was I had something else on market concerns. 1 second. Yeah, it's kind of just also like educate, especially if they've like missed out on a property. If they've wanted to, yeah, a great little quote, the sooner we get you into a property, the sooner we start building your equity. That's actually a nicer way to put it than where I did down here. And then, yeah, like we'll get calls. I didn't include this on this presentation, but you'll get calls on properties already under contract, other common one. And that's a great way. Awesome. Well, hey, that's why it's important to connect with, that you connected with me, to get you set up on a property alert. So you're getting them immediately as they hit the market, and to ensure that you're working with me, that I have a team that we are always available to take care of you and your needs, in a timely fashion. So, yeah, so now we're set up for success, and the next properties you see, you'll be able to see them before missing out on them, or before they're gone, before they're sold. And all right, cool. So I think that was it. Yeah, perfect. Oh yeah, that was actually this. That's what I just talked to. You notice it was gone quickly. I know that's frustrating. A good thing Zillow connected you with me to avoid this ever happening again. All right, a few more common objections that aren't, maybe not as, these are more like follow-up and kind of your conversion objections, but we're not in the market. This is, again, we're not trying to like get them in the market. We're just trying to learn more about why they have that objection, and then we can pivot from there. So, okay, and I do this one all the time. Okay, totally understand, Mary. Thanks for letting me know. So are you guys just taking a short break, or holding off for a while, or until next year? Whatever, however I want to word that. And then that's where I'm always pivoting, always, still trying to keep them on some property alerts, or no matter what, at least a nurture drip campaign, and hopefully with their approval that I can call and follow up. So, okay, again, completely understand, Mary. Thanks. I really appreciate you taking the call and letting me know. I'll update things on my end. And is it, so I know we've been sending you these property alerts. Do you want to still receive those, or maybe would you like to receive them less frequently, like weekly or bi-weekly? So where you can offer them that. I mean, if they're 2 years out, maybe I'll offer it monthly. And then I'm always at the end, whether they say yes or no to any of that, I'm always at the end. All right, well, again, totally understand. Wish you guys the best year. And Mary, just, is it okay if I just circle back with you every few months, every 3 to 6 months to check in? Almost always, if you're good on the call and not beating them up or making it super uncomfortable, 90+% of the time they say yes to that. Even when they tell me they're like done and already bought, they're usually pretty cool with me just saying, asking if I can follow up every here and there. Sometimes I'll say, or every few months, or 3 to 6 months, depending on the vibe I get from them. But I'm always trying to keep the door open for something. Obviously, if they move to New York and they're done, they hate California forever. Okay, done. Good luck in New York. Ciao. But for the majority, I'm always trying to keep it alive. All right, cool. Listing agent objection. Want to hire an expert, interview others. This one's pretty direct. There's a lot of different ways to approach this, but I like this. There's only, the response, there's only one agent. Mary, there's only one agent that knows exactly what every buyer is willing to pay in this neighborhood, and that agent is me. So totally understand that you want to, get extra opinions, but you have found the best, and would love to get things started for you. So we're ahead of the game. Boom, that's where you just kind of try to transition. So comfortable moving forward, we can get this and this going, blah, 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 or set up so you show them the benefits of getting it started with you, committing with you. And or find out what concerns they still have. What is, is there anything else you were looking for, or that anything else I can provide or clarify for you? That's where you can provide more. Maybe you just don't know maybe they were looking for something very unique for you to tell them, like that you do open houses every Saturday and Sunday, and you didn't say that. So, but without you knowing, you don't know how to handle that objection. So it's just digging for more. All right, cool. Don't want to get pre-approved to hurt my credit score. Well, this is cool because I'm sure several lenders do it, but I know because I've been working on ZHL stuff a lot lately. So awesome. I completely understand that. And thankfully, Zillow Home Loans can run your pre-approval on a soft credit pull with no impact to your credit score. So literally, why not? I mean, just going to give you an idea of what you can work with, and what either A is in the potential for you in the market, or B, at least give you a clear path on how to get to where you want to be. Boom. And again, no harm, no foul. It's free, etc. Boom. All right, cool. We're going to look at financing stuff. and then probably wrap it up right there. I would love to even just hear live on the other side of this meeting. Does anybody have any feedback, any thoughts, anything at all?
No, I was gonna say I really like the idea of sounding confused though, like especially when they ask for the listing agent. I think that's gonna be super helpful.
Yeah, really good takeaway. I mean, I think like as much as like these scripts, they are super helpful because they give you things to work with. They give you talk points. They give you pivot points.
Yeah.
They give you things to say other than, oh, okay. Like, but to me, it's as important as anything. And I feel like we probably like, I've actually been talking to Wes about this, like how we can start training on this. Like the energy you bring into a call, the inflection you put in your voice, the tonality, and the way you lead it has as much of an impact to me as anything. Like you can literally say almost the script backwards and incorrect, but if you say it in a very convincing manner with tonality that either creates confusion or positions you as an expert, it has such an impact on the overall effect of it. So yeah, I'm glad you called that out because that's as big of a call out as anything in this coaching. So thank you for that. If anybody else has anything else, once again, feel free to chime in, and otherwise I'm gonna just cruise on. What we're gonna do is listen to another objection, a couple of objection examples, and then we'll look at financing objections and wrap this baby up. So let me go over again to my objections, and we will listen to this one.
Very excited. So close that out. When it comes to the listing agent objection, right, there's no perfect ways to handle it. I've listened to about 10,000 calls on my own, and there's typically a variety of reasons why consumers are going to look for the listing agent. Number one, we've kind of talked about this a couple times in these sessions, right? We don't want to be looking up the property, right, when the consumer is on the phone with us. Because if the first thing that's going to come out of our mouth is going to be silence, it's going to get awkward. So they're going to default to some questions like, oh, are you not the listing agent? And then it's like, oh, that's a credibility question. And that really hurts me. You know, we don't have confidence from the beginning. First impressions mean a whole lot, right? So we want to make sure that we're instilling confidence from the very beginning. You know, there are reasons as to why consumers want to talk to the listing agent. So if you kind of break down how I handled that objection, I wanted to get to the heart of the objection, right? So I use my voice to act a little bit confused. That's inflection there. So, oh, I'm curious, why is that? Right? Because Zillow's connecting these consumers with you, who's the local expert. If you're a little bit confused, they're going to be a little bit confused, right? Listing agent, well, it's typically going to be one of three reasons. Either they think that they're going to get a better deal, they think that that listing agent is going to know a little bit more about the property, or that other objection right there on the screen, which is a different one, which already has an agent, right? So the best way to handle objections is to get at the heart of the objection. So that's why I asked why. Because he thought he'd get a better deal. He thought they'd know a little bit more about the property. It's a common misconception, right? They don't want to be explaining their life history to 10 different agents before they make that offer, right? So we want to break it down, what it is that we can do for our customers. Now, that already has an agent is a completely different objection, right? And this is one that we heard from you last time you wanted us to cover. So what we found is a good way to handle this is the first things first, figure out if this is going to be.
Okay, well, we can maybe finish that one and then we'll be done.
Work saying that you're going to work exclusively with this agent. Let's break this down, right? If they do have a signed agreement, not going to be worth our time. So just send them back to their agent. Hey, buyer, it sounds like you're committed to working with your agent. I would suggest just giving them a call and they'll be able to get you into the property at the time that you are wanting. And then you can move on from there. Now, everybody's going to be different spots, right? And so the second piece of advice, don't just take my word for it, right? Double check with your broker to see if this is a good strategy for your local laws. One thing that I have seen some agents do is if the consumers say, no, I don't have a signed agreement, they'll figure out if there's an opening. Like, hey, buyer, if I were to show you this property, would you be open to using me to negotiate the sale on your behalf? If
Cool. So we could listen a bit more about a lot of that reiterating stuff I have delivered earlier in the presentation. There's another long one I have that I'll probably share on Zillow because they do some really other great objection handling examples and more kind of like an actual dialogue example. But it's 8 minutes long, so I don't want to kill us here. But yeah, again, just reiterating, using that inflection, get into the heart of the objections. I'd say that's as important as anything. Understanding how to approach these is as important as knowing like what to say. Okay, cool. All right, so now we're going to just look briefly at financing objections, more so with EHL. But these also kind of apply throughout as far as like not wanting to get pre-approved. It's essentially making sure that you have lenders. We have ZHL, but any other lenders you have, if you prefer sending them there, that they can do pre-approvals on soft credit pulls that don't affect people's credit. I mean, if you got that today and you didn't know which lender could or couldn't, you could like, great, well, I have a couple lenders who can do that for you. You already know you have ZHL, then you can ask your other lenders before sending that consumer over. But awesome. So ways in discussing, just in general, the approach, identify the right time to discuss financing. This is always a big question. The connection call is not the time. Not the time to ask them really personal questions, which financing is. And so I recommend not getting into that. If they bring up financing, then you can discuss it on that first call. But it's Zillow recommends and their guidelines suggest not bringing up financing on that first call, whether asking if they're pre-approved, anything. But again, if they do, then it's appropriate to talk about it. But typically the most appropriate time is at the first appointment, whether that's a coffee buyer consultation, a Zoom meeting, or a showing. That's typically, and I've found in my career, like it just naturally is part of the natural flow of conversation. You meet them, you're showing them, getting an idea how long they've been looking, what they're looking for, their time frame, and depending on their time frame, that's when you roll into financing. Awesome. So do you guys, had a discussion with a lender yet? Or are you planning on purchasing the property in other means? Blah, blah, blah. Just kind of bringing it up. And then that's when and for me, financing, I mentioned this in this meeting, like I use this as a big thing for me. Like I didn't just like, hey, let's get you pre-approved and move on. I like to really show them I'm really invested in getting them the best loan too. So I want to negotiate their mortgage. I want to get more than one lender competing for their business. I literally did this on like 95+% of properties I sold to buyers. I would get a quote from one lender, and then I would get a quote from another. Whoever was better, I'd send it to the other, see if he could beat it, send it to the other until I got the best of both, and then let my buyers choose. So, and I'd let them know this in that first showing. Hey, I'm not only here to help you find the best home and negotiate the best price on a property. I'm here to make sure you get the best mortgage. I'm here, if they were looking at condos, hey, I'm here to make sure not only we get the condo that works in an HOA that is affordable for you, but I want to make sure one thing most realtors might not even discuss, care about, or mention to you is that to me, as important as anything is the health of the HOA, the actual health of it, meaning do they have good prudent reserves? Have they have any assessments over the past few years? Essentially, like, can your HOAs go up, or can you get a huge fee or bill if your whole property needs new roofs, etc. So I'm always trying to find ways that I can show how I care more or as much as anyone else, and similar with the financing. All right, cool. Back over to that. Awesome. And then, yeah, making the conversation approachable, avoid overly financial terms like bank or pre-approval. This is where, again, I don't, different approaches, different people. I never really like to ask if they're pre-approved, because to me, it feels a little like, all right, are you worth my time? Do you even have money? Depends. It's probably fine 100% of the time. Just for me, I prefer saying, have you already, had a conversation with a lender? That's how I usually ask that question, but totally up to you. I'm sure all of you have ways that you say it and it works great. Cool. So lastly, using the framework for that discussion, the discussion recognizing the right time to discuss financing. And these are ways you can bring that up. Timeline, clarifying with the buyer what their timeline looks like as far as when they're hoping to make a move. And then setting an appointment. So awesome. Great. Well, you're interested in speaking with a lender, blah, 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 blah. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that search together. And I'm going to connect you with my lender, Sue. When we do these connections, we want, like, especially with ZHL, we want to say it by name, not just like a lender with ZHL Homes, but my preferred lender, Sue, forget his last name, was Zillow Home Loans. I'm going to connect you both on a three-way text. So he can coordinate time to connect with you and move you, and help you determine what you're working with or where you're at. Boom. All right. Last thing, common objections here. We'll jam through these, but yeah, what if they're already pre-approved? Just important to acknowledge, congratulate that, how exciting it is. But you can remind them, this is more like ZHL specific, that, if you're trying to push them over to ZHL, not all pre-approvals are underwritten, but with Zillow Home Loans, that's standard. Also, this is where you can kind of handle a bunch of these, also Zillow Home Loans won't hurt, they're running a soft credit poll, so it won't hurt your credit score at all. And at the very least, good to have some options so you can see if your other lender provided you really the best option for yourself. Blah, blah, blah. And again, that's when you can kind of talk about making them compete for your business. I don't want to talk to a lender, oftentimes just, why don't you want to? Maybe they fear what their actual pre-approval is, or their financing, or their credit, but just kind of instilling them, hey, what the benefits are for getting pre-approved. Like, just, hey, if you don't want to get pre-approved, totally understood. But if you're truly considering buying a home, like in the near future, and you need a pre-approval to submit an offer, and they're good for 90 days. So you can get those and we can renew them when needed, even if you decide to hold off, blah, blah, blah. So just trying to work through that. DPA project, I'm not going to worry about this one too much. It's very specific, but more of like loan type of products offering. All right, cool. That will do it for me for today, I think. Did I? Yeah, let me see if there was any other presentations I wanted to send out. There's a lot of, by the way, so like as far as the financing stuff, by the way, I'm adding a lot of content into Lofty to create a ZHL smart plan that will be sending out ZHL info to all of your buyers that clicked interested in ZHL. But also, like, you can share a lot of these things with your buyers. Like, I'm putting, again, all of these as email templates too in Lofty. So buying a home you want, showing them how they save with lender credit. There's also all the loan breakdowns. There's also another document. This one doesn't show it, but that shows that they give, your appraisal fees are waived. So if I can pull that up actually in Lofty, maybe I'll show you guys. See real quick. So yeah, I added some email templates for ZHL. Let me show. I don't know if I made them private yet. ZHL content, yeah. So what is that? So I'll show you guys from the actual templates real quick. So in the when you go to email, you'll see ZHL content folder. When you open that up, there's a bunch of emails that you can send out to your leads. They're real simple. I'm going to fix these and put their names in there. I kind of rough made them this morning and last night, but essentially just showing you, again, only a soft credit check. This shows 21-day close or receive 3K back or rebate. I'll probably change that, but shows these handouts that show all the value. This one shows customer experiences, working with Zillow Home Loans, affordability calculator, track your viability, waived appraisal fees on Zillow Home Loans. So yeah, I mean, nothing like super extravagant, but should be nice content if you're trying to, get your leads over to Zillow Home Loans or ZHL and just move them through the financing part of the process. And I think that'll do it for today's session. Anybody have any questions, feedback, thoughts? Feedback also on how these can be any more valuable, or any ways you recommend we do anything that I could do this different to make it provide more value to y'all?
No, I feel like I got good value out of it for sure.
That was very helpful. Thank you, Patrick.
Okay, cool. Good to hear. Good to hear. Thank you guys. Glad to hear you guys survived it with me too. And awesome. Well, I will be putting this recording on ACU and sharing it on Slack this week or by Monday at the latest. And I'll share a lot of these scripts too. I have a whole folder of scripts in our drive that I'm organizing, so I'll share those with the whole team as well. And yeah, feel free, always reach out to me if there's anything I can help you out with individually or on a group level. And otherwise, hope you guys have a great Thursday and a great rest of the week.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
You bet. My pleasure. Thank you guys.
All
Talk
right.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye now.